This is an NBC News special report. Here's Hallie Jackson.
Good evening. We are coming on the air with breaking news out of Idaho, where officials are about to speak at a news conference about an active shooter situation unfolding near Coeur d'Alene. Our station KHQ reporting multiple firefighters have been shot while responding to a call in an apparent ambush. Let's take you right to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, briefing reporters now.
We now have 2 deaths. We have an unknown amount of casualties. We still have civilians that are coming off of that mountain. We might have civilians that are stuck or in shock on that mountain. So this is a very, very fresh situation. We are actively taking sniper fire as we speak. This is an active situation. We have multiple agencies that are on scene, from local and federal authorities, and we are prepared to neutralize this suspect who is currently actively shooting.
So we got an active shooter out there, guys. I guess there was an active shooter shooting people from a mountain. Sounds kind of crazy, but let's keep on hearing what the hell's going on over here.
At public safety personnel, we are prepared to neutralize this suspect as quickly as possible. And that's really all that we know as of right now. We don't know who the suspects are. We don't know how many there are. So I know that it's very, very, very early, and I don't think that any questions would yield anything. But Chief, you have anything? Was I accurate in what we were reporting?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we got the chief here. Let's see what he's about to say. But so far, guys, what we know is that there was an active shooter, and I think he's shooting innocent people. As what we found out so far. But wow, random, guys, random place, Idaho. Man, what a sad scene here. So we got 2 people dead and a couple injured, I believe. So let's keep on hearing what's going on.
So we'll take a couple questions, but I'd like to remind you that's very, very preliminary, and I'm not so sure we're going to have any additional information.
Hunter from KXOY, the 2 deaths, are they fire personnel that have died?
We know that there's 2 deaths, and we believe that they are, yes.
Have they been taken off of the mountain? Are they?
Yeah, no, we're still in that process.
Liam Brown, Krenzu, you mentioned that there were multiple people that have been shot. Do you have?
So is he still out there? I mean, have you guys got these guys, man? Like, where is this guy at?
An exact number as
No.
of the moment?
No.
Okay.
We do not.
Alex Devon, the spokesman. How are you going about evacuating people from the mountain or getting personnel out of there who are being shot at? I mean, what does that process look like?
Right now, we're developing a plan to be able to suppress these individuals' firefighting capability. And when we get that under control, when we have an opportunity to suppress that, then we will continue our removing of people who are on the mountain, who are on for a hike, or public safety personnel, or people who live on the backside of the mountain.
Do we have any indication of what type of firearms are being used in this from the suspect?
Well, but I just read this correctly, guys. There's a sniper out there? There's a sniper out there, guys, after shooting firefighters. What?
Well, it appears that modern-day sporting rifles are being used. It appears that high-powered rifles are being used, yes.
How many acres is this fire? I don't know if
I don't know.
Started out as a half acre.
Do we know about how many minutes after shots were fired when fire crews arrived?
Well, we got the first call at 1:21, and we have reports that they were taking shots at about 2 o'clock. I don't know what time they arrived on scene. I don't know what time the firefighters arrived on scene, but We can get you that information at the next briefing if you'd like.
How many engines were on scene when shots were fired? Do we know that?
3? I believe we had 3.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, the people who responded, they were wildland firefighters or they were local firefighters fighting a wildland firefighter?
City of Coeur d'Alene and Kootenai Fire and Rescue.
But firefighters don't, you know, they don't have no guns or anything to fight back. I mean, they fight fires, guys. They don't fight other shooters, right? They fight fires. That's why it's a little weird and uncomfortable how they're going after a firefighter. That's kind of whack. That's kind of whack in my eyes.
Yes,
When the
sir.
shots were fired, were they at an accelerated rate or was it a single shot?
Oh no, we're taking rapid fire up there. In the back.
We're taking. It wasn't a single shot. It was rapid fire. Wow. So they were shooting crazily with a sniper under rapid fire, bro.
Are you referring to individuals? Are you referring to the casualties or like the amount of suspects you believe to be?
Well, we don't know how many suspects are up there, and we don't know how many casualties that there are. Yeah, I suspect we'll have people coming forward that maybe are stuck up there that drove themselves to the hospital, but I suspect that would likely be the case.
We have confirmation that there are people stuck up there.
People are still coming off the mountain, so it would only be safe to assume that the mountain is not cleared.
As of right now, is there an active threat to the surrounding community?
Absolutely there is.
Okay. Has there been a shelter-in-place order put forth?
Yes, there has, and I would encourage all of you to tell people to stay away from the area. Do not come to the area. Stay away from the area. This is going to be, if these individuals are not neutralized quickly, this is going to be likely a multi-day operation.
Just a question. So, is the suspect in a home up there? Are they? Do we have an indication of where they might be on the mountain?
Yeah, we don't believe that they're in a home up there at this time.
So they're just kind of out in the open firing.
Well, they're heavy brush, well prepared. So yeah, they're blending in with their surroundings.
Sheriff Norris.
Did you mention that the person that called it is most likely the shooter?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't say that. We said the first call was at 121 on a fire, and then we started receiving over our radio that the firefighters were receiving shots fired from the mountain.
Sheriff Norris, has anything happened like this before? And if so, do you think you and other law enforcement entities will be more aware going forward?
You know, this is an interesting dynamic. This, you know, we have seen some of these things in a urban environment where firefighters were in a urban setting, putting out firefighters during civil disobedience, getting shot at. I've seen that. I can't say that I've seen it in a rural setting myself, but I have seen it in an urban setting frequently where firefighters do get shot at in, you know, civil unrest, yes.
So do we know if there's one or two shooters?
We don't know if there's 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yeah.
So you guys don't even know if there's 1, 2, 3, or 4 shooters? Dude, gotta get this off as soon as you can. How you guys holding briefings right now? Go handle that guy. What the heck? They don't know if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 shooters.
Yeah, we don't know.
So just for the fire itself, firefighting efforts, is it contained? Is it still spreading? What does that look like?
Well, it's gonna keep burning because we can't put a lot of resources on there right now. But Chief,
No, we won't put any resources out there until the threat is neutralized.
Do we have like a risk of wildfire? Say, is it high winds? Is that going to fuel the fire or anything? Or is it?
We're at a high state right now in wildland, so it'll calm down as the evening progresses, but then it'll pick back up tomorrow.
Thank you.
And hopefully this is neutralized by then.
Thank you.
Sheriff Norris, how are you feeling about this overall from when you first got the call to just now from what you've learned?
You know what? It's going to be the tough next couple hours. Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that somebody has a clear shot and is able to neutralize, because they are not at this point in time showing any evidence of wanting to surrender. So as soon as somebody has a clear shot, I encourage them to take that shot and neutralize the threat.
Now, is he asking anybody, the public or law enforcement to take that shot? I mean, is he just telling everybody, if you have a shot, just take it? Or I mean, well, you know, you got to be more specific than that, dude, because, you know, you don't want people getting in trouble either.
I've seen several life flight helicopters coming in and out. Are there any other air resources that are being used at the moment?
Oh yeah, we have our Emergency Operations Bureau that is containing assets, and whenever a situation goes beyond the local resources, which this has, like I said, we have other counties that are here, we have federal authorities that are here, and we will neutralize this threat. So.
Thank you.
And sorry, I know we've touched on this with the suspects. You know, we know there is at least one, but you said possibly others. Is it coming from multiple different locations that bullets are coming from that might indicate that
Yes.
it is more than one suspect?
Yep.
So it's coming from not just one.
Yeah, it's
area.
what the officers and deputies are reporting up on the mountain right now. So,
Have any officers been hit?
as of right now, we don't have any officers that have been hit. Okay.
Can you just confirm, list all the law enforcement authorities that are here on scene?
Well, I have not gotten a list yet,
Okay.
but however, if, I mean, pretty much everybody that's in this region, we have some Spokane resources that are here. We have Marshal's office that is on scene, Bonner County Sheriff's here, Coeur d'Alene Police, of course, is here, Idaho State Police, but we have a multitude of resources right now, so.
Thank you.
Okay, what we'll do is Lieutenant Mark Ellis is going to be one of our press relations here, and we'll determine what time we'll do another press conference, or if the next one will just be a press release. So I'm thinking it'll probably be a press conference, and it'll probably be somewhere in the next 3 or 4 hours, unless something significant happens before then.
I'm gonna be completely real. I feel like I didn't learn anything from the situation. They just basically said, you know, there's an active shooter out there. We don't know shit about it, and there's people trapped.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And there it is. An update on this developing situation out west. What can only be described as a terrifying situation out west. As you heard it there from the Kootenai County Sheriff in Idaho, an active shooter situation. A sniper, at least one, they don't know how many, actively, as we speak, firing on people in Canfield Mountain near the town of Coeur d'Alene. That's like a...
There you go. You know, we got more information there. She said it right there, guys. That's what the first guy should have been saying. Exact location and everything. I'm gonna go back so you guys can hear that right there.
A sniper, at least one, they don't know how many.
At least one, they don't know how many.
Actively, as we speak, firing on people in Canfield Mountain near the town of Coeur d'Alene. That's like a recreational mountain. People go there for hiking, etc. It is not clear how many people are firing, but at this point, here's what we know from officials. They say that firefighters responded to reports of a wildfire in this area. And I want you to look at this map. You see Coeur d'Alene, sort of very, very far north there.
Okay. So firefighters got called to a fire so far. She just said that they responded to a fire in the area.
In Idaho, there's a big lake. You see it there. And at the northern end of that lake is Canfield Mountain, which is what we're talking about here. 2 people are believed to be dead. They are both believed to be firefighters, because once those firefighters got on scene, they began being shot upon by an unknown number of people with what police have said, with what the sheriff said, sounded like modern-day rifles at this point.
Wow, they got ambushed, guys. They called them for a fire, and then they got ambushed when they got there. That is sickening. That is sickening. Firefighters, guys. These guys are set to protect you when there's fires and stuff like that, not when there's gunfire.
There are an unknown number of casualties. They don't know how many suspects are up there. And at this point, you heard the sheriff warn that if these individuals are not neutralized quickly, in other words, if they are not taken out, essentially, this will be a multi-day situation. At this point, there is no indication that there is any surrender that is imminent from these suspects on the mountain, according to what you heard there from the sheriff's office. After that news conference in which the sheriff was clearly concerned about the well-being of the personnel who responded to that fire and about the safety of the officers. You can see what the scene looks like here. We've also been getting information from our local station in this area, KHQ, which had reported on this initially. There is a shelter in place currently for everybody in this area, and the sheriff warned very strongly, do not get out and go about messing around. I'm paraphrasing here. He wants people to stay at home at this point while this incredibly active situation is playing out. Again, sniper fire is what these firefighters, these other crews have responded, have been taking over the course of the last, we think, hour and change at this point. We've got a team assembled here as we're watching this developing news. I want to go to our NBC News correspondent, Maya Eaglin, as we keep these photos up, Maya, because, again, a very serious situation that's happening out west.
Yeah, Hallie, we just heard from Sheriff Robert Norris there, who really encouraged folks to stay home. He said there's a shelter in place because, as you mentioned, they don't know how many suspects are still at large. They don't know how many casualties there are. They've only confirmed at least 2 deaths at this point. He also mentioned that the firefighters aren't going to be able to put out that fire until they neutralize this threat. He thought that perhaps a rifle might have been used in this situation, but this is so preliminary, and a lot of information is still rolling in. It looks like this will likely be a long investigation, but the biggest thing right now we heard from the sheriff is to stay in place as this gets sorted out. Hallie?
Maya, thank you. I know you continue to monitor for any updates that we're getting from our teams there. I want to bring in former FBI supervisor Rob D'Amico. He's joining us now on the phone. Rob, I know you heard that update from the sheriff there. A frightening situation for the people in and around Coeur d'Alene, again, in northern Idaho, and especially so for the firefighters responding. At least 2 people believed to be dead and an unknown number of casualties.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the worst things that can happen with a firefighter is that you have hostilities and someone firing at you, and you probably didn't even know it in the beginning. You're not expecting it. You're looking to put out a fire, and then people start dropping. And obviously, he's talking about a sniper or some type of longer range encounters. So you don't even see that person most likely. So you just start taking casualties, trying to figure out what's going on. And now they're trying to get the other people that are around out of that area, and so that they can bring tactical teams in to try to, like the sheriff said, pin him down and neutralize him, which is tough because anytime you're chasing an armed person in a rural area like that, your movement has to be very slow and calculated, and his doesn't. He can move quickly, he can change positions, but you have to go slow. So you really need a couple maneuver elements to try to get behind him, hold them in place so that they can come up from the side or behind them.
I'm going to ask our team in the control room to see if we can pull up a map that's a closer location of this area, Canfield Mountain, even if you're looking at it off, Google Maps or whatever, what have you. Because this area, for folks unfamiliar with it, I was out on a reporting trip there, I want to say last year, Rob. Northern Idaho, it's a community that has seen an influx in people moving in and around it because it's beautiful. It's there in this very sort of natural area of northern Idaho here. There has been an influx of newcomers. There are also people who have had roots in that community and in that location for many, many years, many decades. And Canfield Mountain is where this seems to be happening. Just about, it looks like 5 miles north, approximately, of the sort of main downtown area of Coeur d'Alene. And Rob, when you hear the sheriff talking about what's happening on the ground, they have got personnel crashing into the scene. They have personnel already up on that mountain. Can you help us understand the communications and some of the difficulties in communications that may be occurring at this point when when you have so many people in this area with so little that seems to be publicly known?
Yeah, they're trying to get a quick command post set up so that they have some synchronization of the assets that are going there, because you just don't want people one firing on each other, moving without understanding where the fire may be coming from. So you have people on the ground trying to, again, it's even tough to tell how many people may be firing on them. With the echoes in the canyons and the sound of the gunfire can be really tough to determine that. So until you know, you have to assume there's more than one. You have to try to see where the fire is coming from, and then getting to a point where you use terrain to mask your other tactical teams moving up around them, behind them, or some way, so that they can't, the subject can't see those other tactical teams coming up. You try to pin them down and then maneuver on them so that you can, one, figure out where he's at and then make a tactical movement to him. And like I said, if you can get another sniper in place that's looking down on it, that can also help so that your movement teams are covered as they move.
What would the federal, as former FBI, Rob, what would the federal response and engagement be at this point? Presumably, we heard the sheriff's office talk about the local personnel on the ground there, the county personnel.
Looks like this is the person, guys. It looks like this is the person. The parents of the Idaho shooter, Wess Roley. The Trump supporters. Oh, man. I could already see what's going on. He recently came to the White House. So this is the stepfather. Where's the real dad? I mean, but was he transgender or something? He looks a little weird, right? Was he trans or something, or there you go. He's 20 years old. Wess Roley. He has a prior arrest for assault in 2024. This incident involved him attacking a woman with a knife, for which he was charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon. He pleaded guilty to reduced charge of misdemeanor assault, receiving a sentence of 180 days in jail with 150 days suspended. So he did 30 days? So he did 30 days? Oh, shit. He was also ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation. Okay. He posted about his drain for authority figures, including police officers, firefighters, and expressed radical views. His post included threats and general hostility towards society, which raised some concern among those who followed him. Additionally, he was known to have made threats against his family, leading to a no-contact order being issued against him. Oh. Wow. So he's not just a normal little kid. He was a Oh, he was a trans. Holy crap. This is crazy. I'm not gonna front, man. This is crazy. This is wild. This is crazy. This is the actual picture from reading material at Wess Roley's dad's house. What could go wrong? The Satanic Bible? Holy crap. This is an odd one. This is a really, really odd one. What the heck? Is this him? Or her? Him or her? This is crazy. Wow. This is wild.
Personnel as well. Can you talk about some of the support that they may be getting from around the region and around the country?
Yeah, as soon as the sheriff requests federal assistance, you don't really need like a federal statute right now. So I'm sure the FBI, ATF, all the other federal agencies around there are moving their people towards it. The problem is it's such a far distance. You don't have like a SWAT team around the corner where you would in a big city, so that those teams may take a while. The hostage rescue team is a possibility. They can get on a plane. They've flown out before, but it's, you know, probably 2 to 3 hours before wheels up, and you know, that's a tomorrow thing. And same thing with a lot of federal agencies. This could be a 5-6 hour drive. They may be looking at, like FBI has aircraft to bring in tactical units quicker, but you know, time now, you're looking at probably those.
A gut-wrenching story out of Idaho. A procession lining the freeway early this morning in Spokane, Washington, saluting the 2 firefighters who lost their lives during an ambush attack that also sent a 3rd firefighter to the hospital. The as-yet unidentified suspect is accused of starting a brush fire in a northern Idaho mountain range in an effort to lure first responders into a trap, where he then acted as a sniper to shoot at them once they arrived on scene to fight the blaze. The suspected gunman was found hours after the shooting by police in a wooded area with a weapon near his body. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my...
So I think, did they find him? I think they did find him, but Jesus Christ, dude. How are you going to call these firefighters to the scene and just open fire on people that don't have guns or anything? That's kind of, that's whack. That gets me angry. How are you gonna fire at people that are there to save by turning off fires and stuff? Get out of here.
Co-host Harris Faulkner, and also joining us today, Marie Harf, Fox News contributor and former State Department spokesperson under President Obama. Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 New York anchor and host of The Underground Economy on Fox Nation. And John Yoo, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, UC Berkeley law professor, and former Justice Clarence Thomas law clerk. Now first, let's go to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, live on the ground in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with the latest. Jonathan.
Emily, some breaking news for you via the Associated Press, which is now reporting that law enforcement officials are telling them that the identity of the gunman in this tragic incident is Wess Roley, as the Associated Press reports it. We believe he is in the region of 20.
Wess Roley. Now, is that Wesley? Wess Roley.
Years old. We do not know anything else about that alleged gunman at this point. Meantime, investigators, of course, still trying to piece together everything that happened here. Last night, the bodies of the 2 firefighters who were killed were removed from the mountain here. They were shot dead, having gone to battle a fire around 1:30 p.m. Pacific time in the mountains here, but within minutes of arriving, found themselves instead facing sniper fire. A hidden sniper opening fire on them, prompting a frantic emergency call from another firefighter. Listen here.
We need law enforcement up here immediately. We've got another Coeur d'Alene firefighter down. We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down. I'm pinned down. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
Wow.
Police, SWAT teams and FBI agents rushed to the scene, around 300 officers in all, and for some time they continued to take sniper fire, with the sheriff saying it was clearly a trap that was set. Listen to the sheriff.
You know, when you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers.
Members of a SWAT team discovered the body of a man. He was dead. There was a weapon nearby. And at that point, the sheriff declared that there was no longer a threat. And just to repeat the breaking news, the Associated Press reporting that the shooter has been identified to them by law enforcement officials as a young man called Wess Roley. As for the condition of the wounded firefighter, who was also evacuated from the mountain, he went through emergency surgery last night. The sheriff at that point described him as fighting for his life. We are told this morning that he is in stable condition. One small...
So at least one of them survived, dude, but what the heck? That just gets me angry. Wow, bro.
Piece of good news in this terrible tragedy. Emily?
Indeed. Thank you so much. Rosanna, I cannot imagine a worse scenario than our brave first responders rushing to a fire to put it out and just ambushed, totally unprotected, and now to learn that likely the fire was started to lure them in. It's just abjectly terrifying.
So, Emily, you know, I'm glad they have the suspected gunman in custody, or he's now passed. I don't care about.
So I think he killed himself. I think the gunman killed himself. Damn. What a coward.
About him. I don't want to know his motive. I don't want to know his name. I don't want to know his background, his childhood, nothing.
Nothing. We don't want to know nothing about that Herb.
He killed 2 innocent firefighters who were running towards danger. They are unsung heroes. The people in that community lined the roadways yesterday as they brought their bodies to the morgue. I don't want to know about this guy. I want to know more about those unsung heroes. That's who I want to know about this morning.
Yeah, Harris, I spoke with a few of my friends there in the Pacific Northwest who are part of the firefighting community, and they are just absolutely devastated and in shock. This is totally unexpected.
Yeah, and when you hear the real-time call for help and that the firefighters on the ground believe that it was set and they were drawn in, I mean, that's so jarring to know that they're taking incoming fire and they're telling the world what they think has happened. If you'll allow me, Emily, I want to save some of my time for you, John. Is this domestic terrorism?
We don't know yet. I think what we need to have is a full investigation. Unfortunately, we have to know everything about him and his background. In the short term, we need to understand, is it terrorism? Is anybody helping him? Was anybody working with him? That's why the FBI is there, to see if this is part of a larger conspiracy. And then I think we have to figure out ways to punish people like this, to stop them, because I totally agree. We have people rushing in to save people's lives. Now they have to worry about people shooting at them. So we have to figure out ways to deter people from ever doing this in the future. If there are people helping him, he's 20 years old, apparently. If his parents should have known, then unfortunately they have to be investigated too, or
Yeah, bro, I agree. Even kids have their own choices and stuff. But we got to investigate the parents as well. I mean, it's a full investigation. See what the hell's going on. But for me, it looked like it was like a rebellion kid or something. You seen he was a little transgender. And it looked like he could have been on the left side because his parents, I mean, the ones that are around were MAGA supporters. And, you don't see them supporting a lot of transgender things and leftist things. Like, it seems that kid was. So much to unravel here, but it's true. Parents got to get investigated, too, if you're going to do a full investigation, see where the hell, because he's only 20 years old. How are people getting these ideas at 20? Unless they were recruited somewhere or something, or somebody was helping them do something.
Reminds me of cases of minors who've had guns and done school shootings, and we have had to punish the parents for not reporting them if they've stolen guns, if they shouldn't have had weapons. I think we have to do that kind of full field investigation here, too. In the longer run, we have to think about culture. Shouldn't people be condemning the shooter and praising the firefighters?
Right. All of that is
We're going to talk, I think, later about people who won't condemn terrible speech. At the very least, our politicians should be able to condemn this kind of conduct.
Well, and you hit the reason why I asked that question. Are there add-ons legally if it's a certain category of crime? And you're right, it's too soon to know, but you answered that. Yeah, so we know that there will be, depending on what this is.
Yeah, and there's always enhancements that can be put on line and weight and the like. And I note, too, first of all, it's a smaller community there, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's rural. It's a tight-knit community. And the first responder community is still reeling from the loss from the deaths there to the firefighters from the fires a few years ago. So this is a community that is still suffering from that. And then to have an ambush occur, it just absolutely defies logic, and it really shocks the conscience, Marie.
Emily, I agree. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Think about what the firefighting community has been through in Idaho, in California. Just think about the LA fires last year. Obviously a different area, but it's one community having been through so much devastation. And fires are getting worse. We know this just on their own in the West. And then to have one set on purpose to hurt them, I agree with you. It's shocking. And I agree with John. We need to know why he did this. We need to know the motive. We need to know how to prevent other people from doing it in the future. And, the investigation is continuing. I'm glad the FBI is there.
Yeah. And depending on the firefighting, many of them, the seasonal and the wildland and the lake and volunteer, they hold many jobs.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure they are loved members of the community. And I look forward to learning more about the 2 firefighters that lost their lives. And we are certainly continuing to pray for the one in stable condition. Thank God.
Jeez, that was crazy. My heart goes out to those 2 guys, man. And the third one who survived, lucky, man. But there's people who are crazy in the world. Pretty sick. All right, guys. I'll be back live later. I just wanted to show you guys this ambush